Hi everyone. Yesterday we had discussed about the some forces that acting on the system. Today we shall discuss about the dynamics of a system of particles. Session 5, subject is physics. Dynamics of a system of particles. Consider all the planets in solar system interact with each other with the gravitational force of attraction. Gravitational force of attraction because they possess masses. They possess masses. And here the sun and its planets considered as one system. Considered as one system. And the size of the sun and its planets are so small because their distance between them, when compared to the distance between them, is the planets and the sun is so small. It can be considered as particles. It can be considered as particles. Example. Another example I can give you. So here, suppose the ball is rest on the table. The ball is rest on the table. So the ball consists of number of particles. The ball consists of number of particles. So because the particles, it consists of number of particles. The particles attract between them or repulse between them because due to the forces between them is equal and opposite, isn't it? According to Newton's third law, isn't it? So these are known as internal forces. That is due to the internal forces of the atoms, isn't it? And external forces, we can consider external forces because the gravitational force and the reaction of the table on the ball can be considered as external forces, isn't it? So therefore, let us consider the system. On the system, there are two forces can be ruled out. That is, one is external system and another one is internal system, isn't it? So therefore, external force and internal force. Suppose the system consists of number of particles along x, y, z. Along x, y, z. So here the particle is m1, m2, m3, m4, m5, m6 and so on, isn't it? So here is m1, m2, m3, m4, m5, m6, m7 and mn. So here m1, m2, m3, m4, m5, m6, m7 and so on or mn are the number of particles in the system. So in the coordinate system. Here x, y, z is the coordinates of the system, isn't it? Coordinates of the system, and O is the horizon. And the distances of these particles from the horizon are R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7, Rn, isn't it? Rn. So R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7, R6, R7, Rn are the distances of the particles from the horizon, isn't it? So here, now the forces acting on the particle is F1, F2, F3, F4 to F5 up to Fn, isn't it? So here the momentum of the particles, the momentum on the particle is given by, or momentum of the particle is given by Pn equals Mn d square drn divided by d. And these are all vector particles, isn't it? So here also these are all vector particles. Displacement of the particles or displacement of the particles from the horizon is R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R6, R7, etc. So this is the momentum of the particle. That means momentum of the particle. Momentum of the particle is Pn equals Mn into drn by dt, because P is equal to mv. P is equal to mv means the product of the mass and the velocity of the particle is known as momentum. Therefore, momentum of the particle is given by, so Mn into drn by dt, isn't it? So in general the force on the particle is given by Fn equals Mn d square Rn divided by dt square, isn't it? D square Rn by dt square. So this is equation number 1, isn't it? In general, Fn is equal to Mn d square Rn divided by dt square, isn't it? So therefore, here the force of the particle can be considered as external forces and internal forces. So therefore, now we are going to explain the internal and external forces. So we can take into consider as external forces and internal forces. That is, the total force Fn equals Fn internal plus Fn external force, isn't it? So Fn is equal to Fn internal plus Fn external, isn't it? So here this is equation number 2. So here Fn internal is the force. These are the internal forces. Fn is the force that is due to all other forces in the system, isn't it? All other forces in the system or other particles in the system. So here F external is the force acting on that particle which is due to all the other particles in the system outside the system, isn't it? Outside the system. Therefore, that is Fn external. Fn internal and Fn external. So now we are going to consider the system, that is the equation of the motion. Now we are going to consider the equation of the motion is Fn internal plus Fn external equals dPn by dt. dPn by dt, isn't it? So dPn by dt, because according to Newton's second law, the force is directly proportional to the impressed force. Impressed force and taken place in the direction of the force, isn't it? So this is according to the Newton's second law. And here now we can consider number of particles in the system. Suppose for first particle F1 internal plus Fn external equals, this is first particle, and dP1 divided by dt for first particle, and F2 internal plus F2 external equals dP2 divided by dt, isn't it? And in the same way we can proceed. Fn internal plus Fn external equals dPn divided by dt. And now we are going to collect all the forces equal to the momentum. Therefore, now summation Fn internal plus Fn summation Fn external equals summation dPn divided by dt. So these are the summation of all the forces of the particles in the system, isn't it? So therefore it is equal to the summation of dPn by dt, isn't it? So here the summation of internal forces on the particle is 0. Summation of Fn internal equals 0, because according to Newton's third law, the system in a system there are number of particles, there are internal forces between them. So according to Newton's third law, action and reaction equal and opposite. So therefore the summation of the forces in the internal system must be 0, isn't it? So therefore, and the summation of all the forces in the internal system is 0. Only, so what is remaining here? This is equation number 3. So what is remaining? Only external forces. Summation of Fn external equals summation of dPn by dt. dPn by dt. Isn't it? So these are the external forces. And here summation of Fn external equals force external force, and dPn by dt is the momentum. Summation of dPn divided by dt equals dPn by dt. Isn't it? So these are the equations of motion. Isn't it? So here now we can write finally F external equals dPn by dt. So this is the required equation. So these are the dynamics of a system of particles. And one more thing, center of mass. We can consider center of mass of the system. Isn't it? Center of mass. Center of mass. What is meant by center of mass? Here, center of mass means consider a system consisting of a large number of particles. The system consisting of a large number of particles. The total mass of the system, the total mass of all the particles in the system is m. N means, so n is the number of particles consisting in the system, and here m is the total mass of all the particles in the system, and therefore, and here the mass, here the total mass means there is a one point. Total mass means, so there is a one point in the system. There is a one point in the system, as though system of mass m, as though the whole mass of the system is concentrated at that center. And here, so I will write clearly. So the motion of the mass is same as if the external forces acting on the system is acting at that point, and this mass is called the center of mass. I will write clearly about the definition of the center of mass. Okay. Consider a system consisting of large number of particles. Consider a system consisting of large number of particles, say n. The total mass of the system, total mass of all the particles total mass particles in the system is M, capital M, isn't it? There is a one point in the system. There is one point in the system as though the whole mass of the system M is concentrated at that point and its motion is same as if the external forces acting on that point as if the external forces acting on that point is acting on that point or acting on the system or acting on that point, acting on the acting on that point. So this point is known as center of mass. So now once again we can read it. So consider the definition of the center of mass is, consider a system consisting of a large number of particles, say n, like solar system. So the total mass of all the particles in the system is m. There is one point in the system as though the whole mass of the system, say m, is concentrated at that point. So this is very important. Concentrated at that point and its motion is same as if the external forces acting on the system acting on that point. This point is known as center of mass, isn't it? So therefore now we are going to consider once again. So here the suppose m is the mass of the whole system, like this. The origin of the system. So here there are number of particles. The whole mass of the system is m, which is concentrated at the center of the system, isn't it? And here R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, RCM. Here R1 here is the mass 1, mass 2, mass 3, mass 4, mass 5, mass 6, isn't it? Mass 6. M1, M2, M with here N is the total number of particles in the system. Total number of particles in the system with their masses, individual masses M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, M6, isn't it? And their distances from the origin is R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R etc. Isn't it? So these are the displacement also. We can call it as displacements of the particles from the origin, isn't it? And we can say that suppose now the forces on all the particles is given by, we have already seen that F is equal to dP by dt. So F is equal to dP by dt because we have derived the external force acting on the system is equal to dP by dt, isn't it? Or F equals Mn into dRn divided by dt. dRn divided by dt or MB dV by dt. Isn't it? So F is equal to MB or d square Rn by dt square. We can write also, or we can directly Mn into dVn by dt, isn't it? dVn by dt or d square Rn by dt square. F is equal to Ma because F equals Ma, isn't it? And here now we can call it as forces that acting on all the particles in the system, isn't it? Now the summation of the forces, summation of all the forces, Fn equals Mn, summation of all the forces. N is equal to 1 to N d square Rn divided by dt square. Equation number 1. So the center of mass. Now if we consider the center of mass of the system, so here M is the mass which is concentrated at that point. Concentrated at that point, the whole mass of the system is concentrated at that point, and this point is the displacement of this point is from origin is RCM. So therefore the forces, the total force acting on that point is given by Fn equals M into d square RCM because center of mass, RCM divided by dt square. dt square, isn't it? So this is equation number 2. Now we can equating these two equations. M d square or RCM divided by dt square equals Mn into summation n equals 1 to n d square Rn divided by dt square, isn't it? So now we can cancel the differentiations on both sides of the equations, and what is remaining? M RCM equals Mn into summation n equals 1 to n Rn, isn't it? Rn. Or RCM equals Mn summation n equals 1 to n Mn Rn divided by m. So this is the position of the center of mass. So this is known as position of the center of position of the particle from the center of mass to the origin, isn't it? Or displacement of the particle from the origin, isn't it? It is a vector quantity. So therefore, so RCM is equal to, if RCM is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to n Mn Rn divided by m, where m is the total mass of the system. Here m equals m1 plus m2 plus m3 up to mn. So that is equal to summation of the masses mn, isn't it? Summation of masses. So this is known as position of the center of mass, and further we can derive the coordinates of the center of mass, isn't it? Did you understand all these things? Okay. Now I am going to rub all the matter which is written on the board. Coordinates of the center of mass. Coordinates of the center of mass. We know that RCM is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to n Mn Rn divided by m, where m is the total mass of the system, isn't it? Rm is the displacement of the particle from the origin, or position of the particle from the origin. So here center of mass, we know that along x coordinates, x equals m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 up to mn xn, isn't it? Divided by total mass, isn't it? Total mass. Or simply we can write it as summation of n is equal to 1 to n mn xn divided by m. So this is the x coordinate. X coordinate, and the y coordinate is equal to m1 x1 plus m1 y1 plus m2 y2 plus m3 y3 plus up to mn yn, isn't it? Divided by m. So that is equal to summation n equals 1 to n mn yn divided by m. So this is along y coordinates. Along y coordinate and z is equal to along z coordinates. The masses spread is m1 z1 plus m2 z2 plus m3 z3 to mn zn divided by m. We know that m is equal to m1 plus m2 plus m3 up to mn, that is summation of mn. We can write capital M, isn't it? So this is along z coordinate. N equals 1 to n mn zn divided by m. Z coordinate. Z coordinate. Because r is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. We know that the position of the particle along the three coordinates r is equal to xi plus yj plus zk, isn't it? And therefore r equals xi plus yj plus zk, isn't it? So these are the vectors which are along the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Caps there. Isn't it? So now we are going to derive the velocity of the center of mass of the particles, isn't it? Velocity of the center of mass of the particles or motion of the center of mass. Motion of the center of mass. So velocity of the center of mass. So in that we can derive velocity of the center of mass. Oh, we have derived already the position of the center of mass or displacement of the center of mass, isn't it? So here RCM equals m1 x1 plus r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3 plus m4 r4 up to mn rn, isn't it? Plus divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3 up to plus mn. So this is the basic equation, that means the position of the center of mass or displacement of the center of mass from the origin. So that is equal to this, we can write. So here this is equal to capital M. This is the denominator equal to capital M and the numerator is equal to summation n equals 1 to n mn r divided by capital M. Isn't it? So therefore now the difference, now this equation we can differentiate. So differentiate this equation m d RCM divided by dt. Differentiate with respect to t. Differentiate with respect to t. Differentiate with respect to t. Differentiate with respect to t, we can get m into d RCM by dt equals m1 d R1 over dt plus m2 d R2 over dt plus m3 d R3 over dt m4 dr4 divided by dt up to plus mn drn over dt. Isn't it? And m we can multiply on our left side, we can get m drc denominator we can multiply in this position. So here dRCM by dt, we know that what is dRCM by dt? dRCM by dt equals VCM. That means velocity of the center of mass, and dR1 divided by dt is equal to V1, small v1, and dR2 over dt is equal to V2. dR3 over dt is equal to V3, etc. plus dRn divided by dt is equal to Vn. Now we can substitute all these in the above equation. We get m VCM equals m1 V1 plus m2 V2 plus m3 V3 up to mn Vn. Isn't it? So this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. The velocity, we want a velocity of the center of mass. We want velocity of the center of mass equals m1 v1 plus m2 v2 plus m3 V3 plus up to mn Vn, isn't it? Divided by whole divided by m. Whole divided by m. So this equation tells us about the velocity of the center of mass. Isn't it? Equation number 3. Equation number 3. This gives the velocity of the center of mass. Velocity of the center of mass. Isn't it? Velocity of the center of mass. And now we are going to derive again the momentum. So here equation number 2 represents the momentum of the particle. Momentum of the particle, isn't it? So therefore we can write equation number 3 also. VCM equals summation n equals 1 to capital M mn Vn divided by m, velocity of the center of mass, isn't it? Suppose equation number 3, from equation number 3 we can write the momentum of the particle, isn't it? Therefore MVCM equals summation n equals 1 to n mn Vn or P equals momentum, total momentum of the particle equals summation n equals 1 to n mn Vn, isn't it? Mn Vn. So this tells us about the total momentum of the total linear momentum of the particle is equal to the product of the velocity of the individual particles and the masses contained in the system, isn't it? So this is the velocity of the particles or momentum of the particles. That means, so if the external forces acting on the system is zero, then the velocity becomes constant, isn't it? Because F is equal to dp by dt, isn't it? So if the external forces acting on the system is zero, F external equals 0. So therefore dp by dt equals 0, isn't it? dp by dt equals 0, then p is equal to dp is equal to 0. So if we take integration for this equation, integration dp equals 0 plus constant, isn't it? Constant. So therefore p is equal to 0 plus constant. 0 plus constant. That is momentum of the particle VCM equals 0. Sorry, constant. So if the external force on the particle is 0, then dp by dt is equal to 0, dp equals 0. So because the momentum is constant here, momentum is constant. So suppose a paper contains, so this paper contains a number of particles. This paper contains number of particles. This is a system. So in this system, if the external forces acting on that system, the momentum of these particles are conserved. Momentum of these particles is conserved, and also the velocity is constant, isn't it? The velocity is constant, isn't it? VCM equals constant. Velocity of the center of mass becomes constant factor, isn't it? So now we are going to explain another concept is acceleration of the center of mass. Acceleration of the center of mass. Now, from the equation, velocity of the center of mass from equation number 3, we can write here velocity of the center of mass. Sorry, acceleration of the center of mass. Now, velocity of the center of mass is given by m VCM equals m1 v1 plus m2 v2 plus m3 v3 plus up to mn vn, is it? Divided by m. Plus. So here this is the velocity or momentum of the center of mass. So in this, so if we derive this equation number 2 is derived. Differentiate with respect to t, isn't it? Differentiate with respect to t. For equation 2, we get m dVcm by dt, dVcm by dt equals m1 dV1 divided by dt plus m2 dV2 divided by dt plus m3 dV3 divided by dt up to plus mn dVn divided by dt, isn't it? So here m dVcm divided by dt, dVcm by dVcm over dt equals acceleration of the particle, and dV1 divided by dt is equal to a1 dV2 over dt is equal to a2 dV3 over dt equals a3 up to dVn divided by dt equals a. Okay. Now, if we substitute all these terms in this equation, we get m a equals because dVcm by dt is equal to a, therefore m a equals m1 a1 plus m2 a2 plus m3 a3 up to mn a. Isn't it? So now a equals, what is acceleration of the particle? Finally, we can get m1 a1 plus m2 a2 plus m3 a3 plus mn a divided by m. So this equation gives us about the acceleration of the particle. Acceleration of the particle in the system, isn't it? And this is that means center of mass. Center of mass. SCM is the acceleration of the center of mass of the system, isn't it? So now from equation, this equation can be considered as 4. and this equation can be considered as 5, isn't it? So now from equation number 4, according to Newton's second law, so here F equals, I can run through these things here. According to Newton's second law, from equation number 4, F equals MA and F1 equals MA1, M1A1 and F2 equals M2 A2, F3 equals M3 A3, F4 equals M4 A4 up to Fn equals Mn An. Isn't it? So now collecting all the factors in this equation, we can get F, the force on the center of mass of the particle is given by FCM equals F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4 up to F5. Isn't it? So FCM is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F5 up to Fn. Isn't it? Fn. So this is the force on the system or center of mass of the particle. Isn't it? So therefore, now we can suppose the force on the particle is 0. The force on particle is 0. That means the center of mass of the particle is 0. F equals 0. What do we get here? The center of F is equal to M, isn't it? The center of mass of the center of mass on which the force is 0. What do we get? That means F is equal to dp by dt. F equals dp by dt equals 0. Isn't it? Now we arrived at the same thing which we already discussed about the momentum of the particle. Because F is equal to 0, isn't it? dp by dt is equal to 0. The momentum is constant or velocity is the momentum is conserved or velocity is constant in this quantity. Therefore, F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, isn't it? So therefore, force on each particle is 0. That means the velocity is constant, final, isn't it? And now, hence the absence of any external force, the acceleration center of mass is 0, isn't it? That means absence of any external force or F is equal to ma. We can say like that. F is equal to ma or a equals 0. So this is the final conclusion. That means absence of any external force on the system is 0. That means acceleration of the particle is also 0. Or momentum is also conserved. That means because a is equal to d square r divided by dt, isn't it? Or dv by dt is equal to a. Velocity is also constant because dv by dt equals 0, isn't it? So v is equal to constant. Velocity is constant. That means acceleration of the system of particles is 0, isn't it? So these are the important aspects in the center of mass. And so the summary is what did we discuss so far. So first we have discussed the external force and internal force acting on the system, and then center of mass of the particles, dynamics of a system of particles, and external force and internal force, and here the motion of the center of mass, in that the velocity of the center of mass and momentum of the center of mass and acceleration of the center of mass. So this is the sum up, isn't it? So today let us stop here. So tomorrow we will continue. Okay, all the best.